Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on this video. We are the Two Pieces Podcast. This is the very first episode. So here I am, I'm Siobhan, and this is...
Joinen. Hello to everybody. I am Joinen. And I guess we're getting straight into it because... I don't even know how to say it.
It's like, this is such a pivotal moment for you, like coming out of the closet. You've like something huge has happened in your life. You're telling your parents you're gonna propose to the girl you've been dating.
Yeah, I need to come clean about something because I've been lying to you this entire time. Joining, and I've said this on stream multiple times, so people who have watched my streams will know. Some of them will know that Joinen, I guess the easiest way to say it is a part of my name. It is part of my name, part of my full name. But my first name is Luke. And the reason I bring this up now after all these years is because we have decided to start a podcast. And this is my friend Siobhan.
Here I am.
We've been friends for quite a while.
Ooh, can't really count the years. I guess if it took 20 seconds, we could probably count the years.
I would say at least a decade and a half or something like that.
Be more than that. Be way more than that, actually.
And he doesn't know me as Joinen. He knows of Joinen, but he knows me as Luke.
I'm sorry. I'm the cause of this. I'm the cause of this controversy.
So I guess what I'm saying is I am Joinen online. But for the first time ever, here I am making content with a friend who doesn't know me as Joinen, and it would just be too weird for him to ask me after all these years for him to call me a completely different name.
Yeah.
So I'm Luke. In this context, I am Luke.
How would you feel if, because when we decided to make this podcast, I was actually contemplating, maybe I should call you Joinen, because that would keep things afloat, not break any glass ceilings or anything like that. But now that we have decided, it's okay for me to call you Luke, what if over time I start thinking of you as Joinen and I start calling you Joinen later on in this life cycle? I think that would be so funny, like a reversal. You'd be like, why did I have to do that in the first episode? Why did I have to have a little rant about people calling me Luke? And then 4 episodes down the line, I'm just like, hey guys, It's Siobhan and Joinen.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not weird to me because people have been calling me Joinen online for ever. So it's not weird to me if people call me Joinen, but it's just more whether it's weird to you.
Well, I guess you kind of had a brand. You wanted to keep the brand consistent and steady, unless it's part of the plan. You know what? I want to have a face brand, and then also just here's me vlogging, and I'm Luke.
Yeah,
I think that's where.
That's true.
People sometimes do that, and it works. And if that's the plan, and that's what you want to do,
getting real.
And maybe this is the getting real with it part.
Yeah,
the real with it part where you're just Luke, and we're just chatting about, the things that we feel like chatting about and sharing with you. Then here's Luke.
It's a more real conversation.
And Joinen will never be real with you.
Joinen is a lie. Joinen is super fake.
Speaking of names, though, I think we should also explain the Two Pieces name.
Yeah.
Well, you were the progenitor of the idea, so...
I came up with it, but...
I remember you saying it, and then you'd be like, there's more layers to this. And then after you said that, I was also thinking more about it. I was like, you know what? Two Pieces, it works really well, because obviously there's the number 2 in it. And we are...
But two people.
Not one person. And pieces, I guess the wordplay is 2 peas. So it's 2 peas or 2 pieces. 2 peas in a pod. 2 peas in a pod like the podcast. Or 2 pieces like a 2-piece, which would be as opposed to a one piece, which is a swimsuit. A two-piece swimsuit is a two-piece.
Am I the bikini? Like,
we'll have to play another game of rock paper scissors to decide who's the bikini part and who's the underwear part. And then there's the obvious wordplay with, well, it's not that obvious, I guess. One Piece.
One Piece,
which is as in the manga by Ichiro Oda.
Would you say your favorite manga?
Manga. My favorite manga, by far. I don't really know. I should have like a list. I should create a list of like what my second even is. I can't even think of it because whenever I think of, oh, what's your favorite like, piece of fiction? I go, oh yeah, One Piece. And I guess I should give it more thought. What about you? What would be your favorite manga? Let's be more specific there.
My favorite manga is The Fable.
Ooh, yeah.
That one always gets a hit if you're at like a bar in Japan. They're like, do you like manga? And I'm like, yeah, I like Fable. And they're like, Fabadu.
Fabula. All right, well then what about anime? Favorite anime?
Anime is hard. I always said JoJo, but I guess it was just like a cop-out answer. I actually don't think it's true. I don't think...
It's okay to not have one as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a favorite of everything.
I think it's easy to have like a recent favorite. It's harder to have like the one favorite overall because you're judging so many different things at once. Like, because I can say, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z got me into anime, but I'm not going to say it's the best anime. It's like not even close.
What do you mean? I don't understand. What are you trying to say? But when Goku says Kaioken times 4. Okay, go on.
When Goku says, I got stronger again and defeats the bad guy that was previously unbeatable. Rinse and repeat.
There's something beautiful about that. Don't try to deny it. Don't take that away from 80-year-old me. Yeah, I think it's fair to not have a favorite, but having like the bridging or like the startup anime for yourself is cool. And everyone's gonna be the ones that you've had. Obviously, Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball for us at our age made a lot of sense to be the thing that got us into anime, whereas like what people are getting into anime now would just be so wildly different. Even like thinking about what's like happening now on getting people into anime now, the type of like action and popularity is so different in Dragon Ball that like, can you even think about like how different the people are? They're so different.
I recently made a video on my channel. I don't know if you've seen it. There was this guy who was talking about how anime is cool now, and I realized very quickly that I think this guy is just young, but he was generally kind of talking about like COVID era is when anime started to become cool, which could be true, as in like that could have been a little bit of a turn in, I don't know, the general populace. I think it was the Netflixification of anime. That was,
I have a lot to say about that, actually.
Genuinely, one of his major points was Netflix, and it was one of the few parts of the video that I actually agreed with. I feel like Netflix is what got the new generation of anime fans into anime, and I think it's a wider net. I feel like there's more people that are into anime rather than when we were in high school and it was like you and me.
I reckon there were probably like 3 other people in our year level, and that's pushing it. I made 2 of those people up. I made 2 of those people up in my head. Okay, so the COVID era stuff, I think that's so fair because so many things blew up in the COVID era, and anime, I think, is just one of them. It was manga and anime during the COVID era is such an interesting thing because so many things stopped, right? Like we all felt it, just like nothing was happening, jobs stopped. But for whatever reason, One Piece was still coming out weekly on the manga was still coming out weekly, and the anime seasons didn't slow down. They still kept coming out.
The relentless, the relentless.
Yeah, the industry
train does not
the industry
stop for
was like,
anything.
sorry, you're either putting this episode out or you're dying. Like, which one do you want? I'd say the point of anime becoming cool though. And you're saying he's young. I don't know if it's a he, but the person was young. That's so subjective because especially because they're young, right? And they're saying anime only became cool in COVID. So what? You finally found some time to watch this thing, and you get to be the opinion that it's cool now. Like,
no, but I think it's true that more people are into anime now. Like it's a broader range of people that are into it. I mean, maybe not like age wise. I do think the whole point is there's like an onslaught. There's a new wave of anime fans, and it includes so many more types of people than it used to. Like it used to be a bit of a nerdy thing. You had to be particularly nerdy, whereas now I think it's almost reaching just like general whatever TV status, like how Dragon Ball or Pokemon was when we were kids, like things that just anyone watched and you didn't have to be an
anime fan.
Yeah
You're a fan of like action, so you think Jujutsu Kaisen. But let's come back to this just before we talk about anything else to do with anime. You said the word nerd, right?
Yeah,
I just want to pick your brain about this because it's something that really irks me whenever I see it in like TV shows or movies or even like on Twitter. Oh, sorry, X.
the everything app.
When is that what its tagline is?
I think so.
Okay,
I think that's what Elon
can do whatever he wants to do, man. The word nerd. When people say, "Oh, I watch Marvel movies,"
yeah,
I'm such a nerd. How do you feel?
Well, I feel like that's part of the point is that when something becomes, I guess, maybe mainstream is the word. When something becomes mainstream enough, it's like you have to be the very, very like creme de la creme to consider yourself a nerd of Marvel. Like you can't just be like, oh, I've watched all the Marvel movies, I'm a Marvel nerd. It doesn't work because everybody watches the Marvel movies, or at least everybody did. But you know, it's become mainstream, and I feel like that's kind of the point with anime is that it used to be very few people that were into anime. If you were into anime, you're a nerd. And now I feel like there's at least with the new wave, the new generation, it's so normal, it's so mainstream to be into it that if you're going to be an anime nerd, you've got to be like hardcore, like way more into it.
See, I have the exact same opinion on that, right? On what we both now are saying we believe an anime nerd is, but I don't think that's what the culture thinks an anime nerd is. I feel like the culture thinks an anime nerd is someone that watches Jujutsu Kaisen, because they will just straight up call themselves like, oh, I'm such a nerd. I like My Hero Academia or whatever's popular, right? Demon Slayer. They'll say, oh, I'm a nerd, and then they'll go out and buy the Hashira kit and swing a sword and like, I'm an anime nerd, I'm an otaku. But they have not done the yards. But it's not, it's not even about the yards, right? It's more about like, again, with your point earlier, but like, how would you be considered a Marvel nerd? Like, I would consider, and I've read Marvel and DC comics. I own a few. I sadly left some back home in Sri Lanka, which I'm very sad about all the time. I didn't bring them over. Anyways, I own a few of those paperbacks, but I don't consider myself a nerd, because if someone came and asked me, hey, what's Fantastic Four number 428, I would not know. like what that is. But an anime, I mean, a Marvel nerd absolutely would. They'd be like, they tell you who's on the cover, and they tell you who the villain is of that run, and they tell you how it ends. But with anime, for me to think, yeah, this guy, you know what? They're a nerd. They're actually a proper nerd. It's because they watch the majority of the shows that come out in a season. And also, maybe we shouldn't assume that people know what a season is, right? A season in anime is like the weather season, so like summer, spring,
It's true.
fall, winter.
It's different to like regular shows.
Yeah. In the anime culture, a season is divided into 4, and in each season, any number of shows will come out, and then you can say, oh yeah, in one season, 16 shows came out. It's never 16. It's like 40. It's like a huge number of shows come out, and then you'll know, oh yeah, that was like a fall anime, or that was a spring anime, blah, 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 blah. So I would say a nerd is someone that watches the majority of the shows, at least half, or at least have tried the first episode of each of them, and also has a backlog of most of the greats. Maybe you don't need to have watched every single great, but you should probably have watched a bunch of the greats and have some kind of opinion on them. That's what I consider an anime nerd.
So I guess there's a few different things there. One of them, because you were saying that like the kids these days could be like, I watch my hero and that makes me an anime nerd. But I feel like when it comes to that specifically, I feel like that's just kids in general. Kids will like find their new interest no matter how much they know about it, and they'll be like, oh, this is my thing. This is my personality now. And if it's something that could be seen as nerdy, they're like, I'm such a nerd or whatever. I'm not like other girls or whatever it is. It's just like, I just feel like that's an age group thing. If we're talking about young people specifically, I don't think it is specific to anime.
Okay.
But there's probably a little bit of like carryover where it's easier for them to say I'm an anime nerd because it wasn't that long ago where just liking anime in general was a nerdy thing. So I feel like it's like getting a little bit confused between being an anime nerd and being a nerd because you watch anime.
You know what? That's the reason I think I brought this up. Like the idea of being a nerd just in general. For me, when I was growing up, I was a nerd, but not in the you know what? Maybe, you know what? There might be like a bit of a difference between what I think a nerd is and what I think a geek is, but I was like the science and maths kid, right? Like growing up, middle school, high school, I did physics, biochem, the maths, and I also liked anime and manga and things like that. And I don't know if I like wanted to claim the word nerd for myself, but I felt like people that just like the stuff that was more fun about it instead of the science and maths, like, why are they also getting like, because I have to try really hard for my science and math stuff, and then the anime part's really fun on Thursdays when the scans come out. Why are other people's nerd? And then the word nerd became like less of a derogatory thing where like bullies would weaponize it, and then it became like, oh, you're a nerd? That's cool. Like, and you can be a nerd of anything. You can be a nerd of skateboarding. You can be a nerd of like stamps, or you can be a nerd of, I don't know, what literally into word, and you can be a nerd of it. And it's cool. Honestly, I'm happy that that's happened for all the people that might have been like marginalized by the word. But at the same time, I feel like the people that were that original meaning of the word nerd like
lost their identity.
Because I really felt like I had to, and there weren't, you know, there were a few like nerds of that grade in our high school for sure. There were like even the ones that fit like the more antisocial image of it. I was more social, hence I'm friends with you, which is great. But yeah, there was something there that is so different to now, where the word nerd just, I feel
like nerd has the word has kind of evolved to, I guess, just mean enthusiast.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
But when it comes to like the definition we were explaining before, where someone who like really knows their stuff, I feel like part of the reason I wanted to start a podcast with you is because I consider you to be a bit more of a genuine nerd.
You bullying me? Are you bullying me right now? I thought it was social. Yeah, look, and as I just said, I do think I was that. I was the nerd that liked all those things, and also including, the maths and the sciences growing up. And I held on to that until this moment right now, so I could do this podcast with you. Until this moment right now, because I had the genuine interest of, when I consume a piece of content, I end up like hyperfixating on it, consuming it to a point that if I meet someone and realize that they are also interested in that topic, after a few minutes of conversation, I will realize I am delusional and they are just a normal fan. But
I don't think delusional is the right word. I think so. I have like an enthusiast personality too. Like, I get into things. I feel like the reason we can discuss so many different types of media is because I get into them as well. But I just feel like I don't know what the key difference is, and maybe 100 episodes into this podcast we can figure it out. But
away.
Yeah,
what's in his head?
But there's some sort of different approach where I was watching anime before it was cool, and I've if we're calling this sort of I don't know what we're calling it, a cultural media podcast. Is that the word?
Yeah, we'll come up with the nice bucket term eventually.
Yeah.
For now, it's a cultural media podcast.
Yeah, so that doesn't have to mean from other cultures, but I guess like media where there's like fandoms of it and that kind of thing. And I've always I've never felt myself being able to like cross the line into like, I don't know.
I use the word delusional.
Full on, I don't know, is the word like maybe obsession or something? It's like, I've never felt too obsessive over anything, even the things I'm like a big fan of. So I say like the Fable is my favorite manga, but like, I'm not, I don't know. I know there's way bigger fans out there, but I'm sure you would say that about a lot of the things that you're interested in too.
Yeah, because what's that equation where the more you learn about something, the more you realize you don't know?
Yeah.
That is a very real thing that happens with, it doesn't even have to be like a scientific prospect. Any body of knowledge, and media is still a body of knowledge, or a cultural phenomenon is still a body of knowledge. When you learn about it, you will realize, oh, X person over there knows how many hairs Luffy has on his head.
Do you know what's so frustrating though? Is the people that don't realize that. It's so frustrating talking to someone who doesn't realize that there are people that know way more about it than they do, and they consider, just because they're a fan of something, they consider themselves to be, as good as it gets when it comes to the knowledge. And it's like, it's so hard to have conversations with people that think like that. And I think that maybe I feel like I've had enough interests to always assume that I'm just at the very start of knowledge on absolutely anything. And so I don't try to claim too many things. There's a few things I will try to claim like absolute knowledge on.
I have the authority on this thing. Come. I almost call you Joinen there. Come to Joinen. Come to Joinen to talk about this. You will learn something.
If we're gonna, if we do an episode about cameras or something, I'm gonna be like, look, there is probably a few people who can talk about like the individual pixel size in a sensor and talk about the, I don't know, that kind of thing. But as a general thing, I've got my finger on the pulse of everything going on there. But when it comes to media in general, I feel like I haven't I feel like I lost the ability to become obsessive over media after I was like, I don't know, 15. Like it sort of just went away. Whereas like I can really like something and be really into it, but I will never consider myself to like be super. I feel like it's an energy thing. I feel like I lost the energy for it, for any of it.
That's really interesting. That's so interesting because maybe you've already discovered what the difference is. Because I think maybe because our paths are so different in terms of like professional life. You are in a creative field where you are creating content, interacting with people online, and creating videos and media, that I am in such a different field where I need a sort of creative. It's not even I'm not being creative. I'm consuming creative content to fill the void of my uncreative, very scientific like life on the side. So maybe that's why, like, after high school ended, I went straight to uni and just did chemistry, and then after university ended, I went into the workforce and just did chemistry. So there was nothing truly creative or fun in that like bombastic way that fantasy stories and sci-fi and anime and manga and TV shows and movies can give me, that science could. So I got energy from it. Me consuming that content was actually like re-energizing myself. That was never like a lack of energy that I couldn't just keep reading. Just read a whole set of volumes of a story or watch an entire show and then watch a YouTube video about that show and then go into the wiki and then figure out what's going on with that. And then, that might be my theory.
When you have a wealth of knowledge about something, like let's say it's just One Piece.
A wealth of knowledge.
Well, it works for One Piece. You have the One Piece of knowledge. Do you have anywhere to kind of showcase that? Like, because I'm wondering whether, I mean, do you?
No. Literally, I have sat
You do it for the love of the game?
I do it for the love of the game, dog. I totally do it I have been consuming One Piece. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers today that she just watches the anime.
Yeah.
And then she's talking to me about the One Piece live action that's come out. And then she asked me when I started watching One Piece. And I was like, I was still living in Sri Lanka at the time. And the anime came up on Toonami and I watched it. And then I started reading it when I was about 11. I do remember what I caught up to when I got to the most current chapter of the manga, and that was Skypiea. And I have been up to date with One Piece since Skypiea. So it's a very, very long time. When I think about like really famous YouTubers that have been like covering One Piece on YouTube, I think about like Tekken. Do you even know who that is?
No.
Nah. I mean, there's no point in naming these names. Maybe we'll go over like One Piece YouTube one day and I can talk to you about it. But like these major forces in the One Piece YouTube landscape, they started catching up, like COVID or Marineford War, like these other things. And COVID played a big part into One Piece's like major explosion of fandom. But yeah, I have had all this knowledge in my head for so long and talk to no one about it. I just keep it in here. It's safe in here.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, how often do you get to discuss One Piece with people?
I'm going to say the number.
Or
0.
Or is it that you like collecting all of the knowledge for the chance that you'll get to discuss it with someone?
I reckon you can already. I was doing that meme like, when you
have you ever had a dream that when you
I think you can already imagine the meme of like me trying to talk to a girl or something and be like,
how early is too early to talk about One Piece?
Legit. Yeah. So like second date, when do I bring it up? When do I bring up my crazy obsession? I don't know if I ever. It was truly for the love of the game. I never did it thinking that I would have an opportunity to talk about One Piece. I just like it so much. It's become such a big part of my life and my like the media I consume. Because like think about it, right? Whenever Skypiea was, in the early 2000s, or even if I just think about the anime, how long ago that was, like mid 2000s, that was 20 years ish. The manga's been serialized for 30. So for around 20 years of my life, it's been a part of it. Whether I was a big fan or not, like there were times where my fandom for it dropped and my fandom for it peaked in different points of my life. But it's always been there. It's been a constant. So there wasn't ever a point where I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this with someone. If someone showed this tiniest bit of interest though, I would latch onto it and I would want to like rip out everything they have and then put more stuff in there. But no, I love the game.
So
that's for the
reason I bring up like that ability to talk about it with someone is because like, and maybe it's something to do with my personality, because if we have this podcast, if this podcast continues, which hopefully it does, which is a whole separate thing, because Joinen fans are always scarred from me starting episode 1 of so many different things.
Really?
But that's because I have to test to see if it'll perform well. I know this won't perform well episode 1. They're starting from the bottom. It's only up.
We're gonna grind for it. Yeah, grind for those views.
No, what was I saying? Right. When it comes to this podcast, now I feel like, all right, well, now I've got a reason to get serious about like anime or whatever it is, and then I just like have the energy. There's some extra reason, and I feel like I can kind of back that up by the games that I like playing. Have always, the games that I've put the most amount of time into have always been one where there's some sort of like, I don't know, online rank or something like that.
Okay.
And it's like, because so there's a certain type of game I like, I like Balatro, I like Hearthstone, recently I've been playing The Bazaar, a lot of like card games. But Balatro is just like a single player game. And I played that for a bunch and then just sort of got over it.
Right.
And I feel like it's because I couldn't place myself anywhere. It almost felt like, okay, I'm having fun, but why?
It's comparative.
It's not. I don't even think it's. I don't think it's competitive. It's like I want to feel like it's for some greater reason.
Right. Or do you want to know if you're doing good or not compared to how someone else is doing?
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's necessarily competitive. It's just like, if it exists in a public space, so you could think of it the same way with like my YouTube channel. It exists in a public space, and somehow I feel like that makes it worth it. There is some like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're doing. Oh, this is like really links well with me doing One Piece and just like consuming it by myself. How weird and juxtaposed that is to what you are doing, even if you're doing it for the love of the game. You're still doing it in a public space where I was just consuming it in my room. Then again, though, I think there's very subtle differences there where I still want to talk to people about it, but it wasn't something that I needed to talk about. Like I could go about my day and never think about talking to someone about it. But if the opportunity is there, that's when I'm like kind of excited to talk about it.
Yeah. And I obviously still have interest like this. I read a bunch of manga and I don't know, I watch a bunch of shows and everything that I don't ever expect to talk to about anyone. But what I'm saying is like, if I'm going to get really into something, it feels like as in like really next level into something. Maybe it's just like the sense of community around it. Maybe that's all it is. Whereas if I feel like there's other people who are really into this as well, then it kind of contextualizes it in a way where I feel like it's worth it. Or like
I get that.
So like I grew up not really being into sports. I was never really into any sports, and then more recently, I've gotten into baseball.
You were a crazy fast 100-meter sprinter, though.
But that was just purely incidental.
I remember that. I remember you were always in the final heat against like,
yeah,
dude. That kid was running 10s. He was running, and you were in the final heat with him.
I remember one time I bet him in a 100-meter race, and I was in a spray jacket and my like parachute pants. And I remember he was so upset because I just like did. I was nowhere near as invested. No, but I was never. Yeah, so recently
Baseball. You said
getting into baseball, and baseball's not super popular in Australia, but the fact that it is a sport that is popular, at least globally, it gives me reason. Like, I got into baseball because I went to Japan and saw a baseball game there, and one of my favorite things in life is having conversations with salarymen at bars in Japan, and they love baseball. And so I feel like it almost like gives purpose to my interest. Or I can talk about Shohei Ohtani and instantly make friends with a salaryman at a bar in Japan, and then it gives extra meaning to my like extra effort that I would go to get into it. And I feel like I apply that to like all of the media interests I have in general. And so by the fact that this very podcast exists means that it like opens the gate. It allows me to get more invested.
It's definitely going to be more fun to talk about a special interest with someone else versus you trying to figure it out by yourself. Whereas it's still very much possible for you to figure it out yourself and like get deep into it. But this is like a multiplier on you. Yeah. On you talking about anything. And it's not just going to be anime because, as we talked about, I have this special ability to have consumed so much media of different things that I want to talk to you about F1 and K-pop. And I know you read, but other fantasy novels, sci-fi shows, all those things that there's probably a few things I'm not thinking about. But
I mean, there's probably no end.
There's so many things that I've consumed over the years. And okay, if I was going to rank like my knowledge, I'm not a 10 in anything, even One Piece, because there's always someone better. But I'd say I'm a good 9. I could look at a picture of a bunch of different eyes of One Piece characters and tell you who they are. So that's how much I know. I could tell you all of the arcs in order, blah, 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 blah. I'd say I'm a 9 One Piece. And then with Formula 1, I'm like a good 8. K-pop, I'm good 7. Le Seraphim from K-pop, the K-pop world. Le Seraphim, the K-pop world, I'm a good 9.
There's some big K-pop fans. And I think we've got some good episodes coming up because I've got some interesting stories.
Yeah, I've got some interesting K-pop stories. I'm so ready to like learn some stuff from you as well, because like maybe this could have been like, oh, we talk about something I only know. No, it's no way. I want to know about some camera stuff because I've got nothing. I've got zero clue about camera stuff.
Yeah.
Or any of the other things that you've been doing in the YouTube world as well. If you want to talk about the YouTube world, I want to know. All I do is consume YouTube videos. Why not? Why not learn about the YouTube world from you as well? Let's bring it back to anime though. Let's bring it back to anime because we've been talking about so much stuff. What were you saying earlier about the kid?
So, well, the what about the new wave? The new wave of anime fans. I guess this does kind of tie the past couple conversations together. The way we've been talking about our interests, and I guess we both have enthusiast personalities, and they might be motivated for different reasons or whatever, but we are definitely enthusiasts of things and consider ourselves to be, I don't know, fans.
Fans of different levels for different things.
But we're certainly anime fans. And we have been for a while, and we're getting to that unk age where we can say back in my day.
Don't say that. No. Don't make it real.
I'm sorry.
That's the first time I've ever been like grouped in a conversation where someone has collectively used unk, and I've been involved. That's the very first time.
You're 30 now too, aren't you? Yeah. So you know 30. What I just said to my wife before you came over to record this. I said, "Holy moly, we turned 30 podcast."
That's so that is funny. I wasn't even thinking about that, but. Hey, it's true.
But anyway, the point is we've been anime fans for a long time. And I guess when we talk about the new wave of anime fans, I guess you could say like high schoolers. Let's say as a whole, we're talking about high schoolers who get into whatever the new show is. And I would say I got most invested into anime in high school.
Same.
So we have some bit of comparison there. Do you think that we are a different breed of anime fan?
Built different.
Or do you think it's just the same thing?
You know what? When you first brought up you watching that video and that kid saying that anime is cool now, I got really like defensive about it. I was like, oh, anime has always been cool. This kid doesn't know what they're talking about. They probably just watch JJK. But after our conversations, I've completely come around, and I think it's totally okay. Because we also talked earlier about how you got into like anime at the start because of like Dragon Ball. Yeah. And I thought, well, if that happened to us now, we'd be watching JJK and we'd be saying this is so cool. Like, look at all these fights and these cool animations. I really, really like it. Look at the Sakuga. I've come around to thinking that maybe we were too harsh. Maybe I treated you too harshly. But
I don't think I was harsh, because this is how I've been thinking the whole time.
Really?
I don't think it's any different. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think, My Hero, Demon Slayer, JJK, whatever. Is it just not Bleach, Naruto?
You cannot. So I'm going to stop you before you get like hunted down by One Piece purists.
I didn't say One Piece.
Sorry, not One Piece purists. I actually used the wrong word. By Big Three purists. There is no new Big Three. I'm saying it for the safety of us. There is no new Big Three. It's only ever Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Okay. Let's keep going. These are 3 new popular shows that are current. I'll explain that to you.
A big 3 versus the big 3.
Look, there's lots of terms that people have tried to use to describe 3 shows that are current that have extreme popularity, but for one, they don't stick because these shows don't last. Nothing is like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece where the environment back then was for big long running mangas to exist.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't. Like JJK ended, Modulo ended last week, which is JJK's sequel. Did you know about Modulo?
No, I've tried a few times with JJK.
But that's for another time. Anyways, JJK is over. My Hero Academia is over. Kimetsu no Yaiba ended years ago. I think Kimetsu no Yaiba ended
Demon Slayer.
Before. Sorry. Yeah. oh my god.
He's a nerd.
I'm not saying Shinjeki no Kyojin. I would say Attack on Titan instead of that. I'm pretty sure that manga ended before the Mugen Train movie came out.
So
like that's how That's how long ago that manga ended. But people have tried to call them the big three, like JJK, Demon Slayer, My Hero, or whatever else that they want to slip in there. But it's not the same because One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto were the big three while they were airing. They were super popular while they were airing, all at the same time, competing against each other for the number one spot. These guys now are like popular because of the anime while the manga is over, and it's such a different landscape because Demon Slayer is doing movies, JJK was doing anime and movies, and My Hero Academia is doing anime and non-canon movies. It's so hard to compare.
It's a different landscape, but I feel like the format is a little different, but I guess that's just, things change over time. And like, if people prefer, their anime in shorter bursts or whatever, if that's just the trend at the moment, does that change, the popularity of the show?
Well, popularity is objective. Some it's going to be popular, it's not going to be popular. And I guess you can take it in one way or another depending on how you want to compare to how popular things were back then. One, you could say, JJK is extremely popular, and then you can be contrarian and say it's only popular because more people in general like anime, so it's being inflated. Or you can be like, no, it's popular because it's like intrinsically a good piece of media.
I've got a take for you.
Mm-hmm.
If the idea that the new big ones, however many that there are, the new popular ones, if they are shorter, then wouldn't that in theory lead the fans of those shows to be more generally anime fans rather than individual show fans? Because you could back in the day get into One Piece and then you're just a One Piece fan because it just never stops and you're just always a One Piece fan. But if you're a fan of, Demon Slayer or JJK or whatever, My Hero, you can just watch it and then it ends and then you're left out in the wind and then you've got to find something else to watch.
Yeah,
and
okay.
It's could even be a better, ramp into the fandom.
I see exactly what you're saying, but if I was to play devil's advocate to that, if you watch the first season of JJK and you think it is so good, which it is, like such a great show, great animation, great fights, and it ends, I don't think that naturally lends you to watching more shows, not because of the person you are, but because what that show is, there's not much else like it. So I think if you're going to go into the anime world after watching JJK and then you try something else and it ends up becoming, I got hit by a truck and I turned into like a candlestick and now I'm playing a fantasy RPG, you're going to be like, what is this? Like, what is this like horrible world I've stepped into? Where's my JJK? Same with Demon Slayer.
There's better comparisons though.
Yeah, maybe I picked the worst thing on the bucket.
Any other major shonen and it'll be somewhat similar.
Yeah, okay. Let's not be me and like pick something so bad. I'm saying the reason Demon Slayer, JJK, My Hero, or whatever's replaced My Hero since it's been over for a while, they are super, super popular, but for a reason, right? Because they are actually like quite great pieces of media, well animated. You can say what you want about how good the plot is, but really, really well animated shows that you can enjoy for action's sake. Even they are really, really popular. There's not much else like it because of how high a bar that they've set. If you go from that to like a rung down, I think the chasm is like quite far. And then like real anime fans, true anime fans will be able to find those other shows with great scenes, great sakuga, great plot. But the new anime fan will probably struggle a bit more. Not just because oh, I'm a new anime fan, I watched the new JJK season, now I want to go and look at else has come out in the season. A new anime fan isn't going to know what a season is. Like we just tried to explain it earlier. Like it's not common knowledge to know that, 38 shows come out in fall and 43 are going to come out in winter or whatever. It's, you go in and you might just think it's like whatever's available on Netflix. So what if a great show is available on Netflix that's not JJK, maybe there's a chance you'll watch it and become a fan. That's awesome. But people that are like in the culture, anime fans, they know how to find the show. They know what the most hype show for the next season is going to be, and they're looking forward to it. So, but it's like a difference. I don't know if being the guy that watched JJK first, as their first anime, is going to lend to the best experience of like bridging into the anime world.
I feel like it's always been the same way though. It's like to then get to the point where you're keeping up with the seasons and checking the new shows and being able to discern it for yourself. That just comes with experience, and I feel like it always did. I feel like it's no different to when you finish watching Dragon Ball or finish watching Naruto, and then you Google like, all right, other anime like Naruto. And it's because that's how I got into it. And eventually then that leads you into like watching more and more, and then watching the classics, and then all of that. And then when you've kind of gotten through all of the general recommendations, that's when you start kind of deciding for yourself what it is that you want to watch and how you're going to go about it. But I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like that's how you would do it now, and that's how it happened
did it
back then.
I agree. I'll say my take was wrong. But I would say that with like the way we did it, it was for me at least, my process was quite slow. Like I probably watched Pokemon and Dragon Ball, and for a while that's all I cared about. And then like One Piece, I just watched the anime, whatever. And then for whatever reason, I picked up the manga. It wasn't that I was like amazed or blown away by the anime. I just picked up the manga because I wanted to pick up Naruto and Bleach at the same time, and I just read them, and then I didn't really like watch anything else for years and years and years. Then by chance, I think I remember seeing Gundam 00 on TV, and I thought, wow, this anime looks so cool. I googled it and I found a different Gundam TV show anime. Watch that, and then by googling that is where I eventually got to the point where I like saw different animes and the seasons and all that stuff. But it took years. It took years and years and years of time. People doing it, like, I think the only reason I tried to argue the point earlier, even though I've conceded, is because if you were to do it now, I don't know, is everyone's first response after they watch a good show more shows like this? Because I personally don't think I've ever Googled another show like this show.
Really?
Yeah,
that's exactly how I got into it.
Maybe we're different. Yeah, like, probably different.
I think in general these days with like internet communities, it's very easy for people to find, like-minded people. And it's easy for them to just be like, oh, what do you guys think I should watch next? And you'll get all kinds of recommendations. People literally do it in my Twitch chat. Whenever I bring up anime, they'll go off on their own conversations just in my Twitch chat, and they'll be like, oh, hey, I like this. What do you guys think I should watch? And then everyone will be suggesting, other shows. And I'll tell you what, it is not what you think. I did a video recently where I asked my Twitch chat to recommend me shows, and you get a lot of the basic stuff. But the shows I ended up going with, just by picking them out, as long as they weren't shows that I had seen before, were like, I guess that maybe qualifies it in the first place to be kind of unique shows. But they were just like, but they were all old. Like it was, a lot of it was like really old stuff. And I actually think, like, to a surprising degree, I think the new anime fans are kind of interested in going back to see what was like the big stuff. And I guess, they can just, I guess everything is out there on the internet, and when you Google like what are the best anime, a lot of them are going to be the older stuff. But I think like I started Nana because people in chat were recommending it,
You're reading or watching Nana, like whatever.
I was surprised, and I tell you what, because I started streaming, I would say, kind of during COVID, but I remember then talking about anime in my Twitch chat, and it was like crickets, like right at the start of COVID. And now it's like, and so I just avoided anime as a topic in general on my channel for so long because I thought no one cared. And then more recently, I kind of touch on it, and I realized that chat just goes crazy with it, and they're all like super into it. And there might be some like crossover with the Gacha Life crowd or whatever, but they're also the young people. Like they're the young ones.
Look, if someone's bringing up Nana, they know. I'm not saying Nana is a deep cut, but I'm saying people don't just bring up Nana. Like it's like, oh, you've definitely like, you watch that show, like that shoujo show, and if it's not shonen, then you're like, it's kind of like, oh, okay, you're like properly in the game here. I'd say anyone that recommends anything outside the shonen verse, or like if they say something like Monster or Claymore, like these aren't super popular shows, but they're well regarded for like the something that happened in, what was that one that I remember,
like Evangelion or something like that.
I'd say Eva is to the point where I really saw someone on the way here driving a Tesla that had the Eva 01 machine make blah 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 sticker on the car. I was like, yeah, it's okay. That's mainstream now. I think Evangelion or Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, those things that I think people, when we were getting into anime, those were held up as like the peak of, oh, you watch that show, you know what you're talking about. Nowadays, I don't know if it has the same value.
No.
Because of, so many reasons. One, a lot of people have more access to it, so it's so much easier to watch. Back then, you'd have to like kind of go out of your way to watch them. And Cowboy Bebop got a Netflix show that, oh my god. Let's not talk about that. And also, it's on Netflix, like the actual Cowboy Bebop.
I was about to say, do you think maybe this is actually the distinction? If we're trying to talk about whether they're fake anime fans or something, maybe the point is that a distinction that didn't exist when we got into it was this Netflix anime fan versus broad anime fan.
No, I think you're totally right here. But this is not something we were talking about earlier, because of the ease of access now. To be a fan of something back then, you just had to put in extra effort to find the media. Maybe the way you got first introduced to it is the same as now. You happen to come across a show, whether it was on TV or streaming or whatever, or even a YouTube video. But then nowadays, you see that YouTube video or Netflix show or something, you just go, all right, it's already recommending me something. Cookies have been set on my phone. When I scroll on X, the next random video or next random post is about that show, so you're just gonna see something else.
You have to put in the work before.
Whereas back then, you are probably having to go. I remember having to go to DVD stores to like borrow whatever shows I was borrowing back then. I can't remember. Maybe I think I was watching like super old Gundam movies, all the Pokemon movies. I would go into the video store to borrow those DVDs to watch them.
Or you had to be, we could say, particularly savvy on the internet.
Yeah, back then I was not.
To find the particular websites that you would need.
Oh my god, that's taking me back. I remember having to go to like my cousin's place to ask him, because he had LimeWire. And like he'd download like the movies for me on LimeWire. Those are the days. I think overall, because we didn't consider that, we were kind of going around in not necessarily circles, but we were like sympathizing way more with the people nowadays. But I think with that caveat that, people back then just, they still have the same fandom and the same entry route as people nowadays, but to get to the point that people are nowadays, they just had to do so much more effort. So maybe there's a sunken cost like there as well, because
Yeah.
you had put in all this effort and you will now have watched all of these shows on maybe a VHS or a DVD or whatever, and so now you hold it so dear because there's that nostalgia and time. Nowadays you can watch it. I've watched so many anime on Netflix and not like truly
really
like
cared,
absorbed it
yeah.
or cared, because
But does that mean that any new anime fan is just doomed to never be considered a real anime fan, no matter what? Because it's just too easy for them to find. Like, surely ease of access isn't the only thing. It's got to account for something. But I think when it comes down to it, it's probably more nuanced, and it comes down to the actual individual and how invested in it as a whole they are. I think maybe what it is, it's not that it's the new wave of anime fans. I think maybe there is a portion of the new anime fans that only watch whatever is the convenient, popular stuff on Netflix, and they'll never get past that. And we didn't really have an equivalent. The only equivalent we had was like the people that watched Dragon Ball and Pokemon on Cheese TV or whatever. Like, whatever was on TV, maybe that's the point where there was
that probably is it. Yeah.
You wouldn't really call them anime fans, even though they might have liked Dragon Ball and whatever, because it's just on TV. It was just what was convenient. And then who knows if they go on to watch more, get more invested, start consuming the Two Pieces podcast.
That's when you learn.
Maybe then.
That's when you won't be considered the new wave anymore.
Then you're a true fan.
I tend to agree with that point. An easy way to say that you aren't just a surface level, like, consumer of the content is you don't just consume the most popular thing. And you can talk about that with anything. Like, if you say, oh, I'm a massive, like, fantasy nerd, and all you've watched is the Harry Potter movies, like, are you though? Like, no, you're a Harry Potter fan, which is great, good for you. But like, have you watched any other fantasy show? Have you watched Lord of the Rings, or have you even read the Harry Potter books? There's so many like pathways further you could have gone to consider yourself a fantasy connoisseur, or you can just say you're a Harry Potter fan. So like nowadays, Jujutsu Kaisen, are you an anime fan? Are you a Jujutsu Kaisen anime fan?
Yeah.
You're not even a Jujutsu Kaisen fan. Like, you don't read the manga.
Well,
like,
so this is what just came to my mind, that like there actually is still one litmus test that exists, and it's not to say that you have to, but it does tell you that you are a real. It's like weird almost to say it's like not really anime fan, but if you read the manga, I think that's something that hasn't changed since when we got into it. The ease of access to manga, it's still not there. It's still just as difficult as it always was. You either need to get crafty online, or you need to go and buy it yourself, or whatever it is.
Or you had to get lucky at a bookstore.
Yeah, it's the same experience as it always was. And even back then, it was like you were more of a fan if you also read manga.
And there's still that sort of difference between the anime and manga world, where like some people just don't want to read manga because one, they don't like comics as a piece of media. Totally fine, like people just like different things. And two, but they want to see moving pictures. So like there's a difference in that. And so some people just won't ever cross that barrier, but the people that do, that could be multiple reasons. One, they want to see the rest of the story because the anime hasn't finished it, or two, they want to know what the original intended work of the author looked like and all that stuff. And then maybe they are more into it than the anime fan, but some people might just really like the anime.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can be a real, true anime fan and never touch the manga.
An anime purist.
But I do think that if you have gone to the manga, or you read a bunch of manga, I think at that point you're already a fan. And that's what I'm saying. It's like weird to say an anime fan
because it's like you're leaving the conversation.
But but I don't know, that those stories in general, I would say at that point, yeah, you're a true fan. You're not. So I guess what we're saying is there's like the Netflix fan, there's like the Netflix casual, and then there surely are new wave fans who go past that.
Yeah, maybe they're watching on like all the other streaming services as well. They're watching whatever's available to them any way they can get it, like Amazon or Disney Plus, whatever else anime is on. YouTube as well. I think sometimes companies put out anime on YouTube. So, but it's kind of easy to get, is to say. So it goes Netflix and then everything else that's easy, which is like tier 2.
I guess the fact that Netflix exists with all the anime it has and all that, it kind of muddies the waters of the conversation. Because it's created like a more entry level demographic, fan group that didn't exist before.
The painful thing about this is that Netflix is now putting up like more of that old school stuff as well. So it's hard to like now differentiate. Yeah. Oh, they're not just putting out like, I don't know if they put the new season of Frieren out, but they've got the older season of Frieren out, which is very new and very popular. But they also have, Neon Genesis Evangelion's on there.
To be clear, I don't just for anyone trying to figure out what we're getting at home. This is not some like gatekeepy conversation where we're trying to discern whether we would be friends with you or something like that. Like it's just a discussion based on our experience in high school and trying to figure out like is it the exact same thing? Are the new wave of anime fans, are they as invested in it as we were? Whether that's a good or a bad thing, that's not even the discussion. We're not trying to say it's like you're better if you're a real anime fan.
It's definitely not a bad thing to be a fan of something. That's why we're here.
But it's definitely not a bad thing to not be a real anime fan. It's not a bad thing either way. It's just an interesting discussion point, and I feel like it is interesting because there kind of is this new category of casual fan.
It's because it didn't exist before.
Other than the Cheese TV viewers, like whatever was on TV. I think they didn't even know it was anime. So I feel like that's what separates it. Like, you can't be a real anime fan if you don't even know it's anime. I mean, you know what I mean.
I'd say that probably even applies to some people now, because the line between what's anime and not has become such a talking point recently. Right. Not recently, but like for a while. I think the biggest one that always got people up in arms is Avatar: The Last Airbender, an anime, because it's so inspired by it, but the studio's not the same. And then there's all these anime coming from China
Korea
Korea that are being put out on Crunchyroll, all the same streaming services that anime comes out in, and they call it anime. And back then on Cheese TV, or I watched Toonami, when I saw Dragon Ball and Pokemon, I thought that was a cartoon. My cousins that were all older than me and didn't watch it with me, but they saw me watching it, thought I was watching cartoon. My sister thought I was watching cartoon. Sailor Moon comes on, I think that's just another cartoon. The art style is different, but who am I to start picking on the art style as like a 6-year? You don't care about art style. You just care about art style now, maybe, because you have preferences. But when it's a kid, SpongeBob is literally no different to Pokemon.
I mean, I feel like there are probably people today who still hasn't clicked that that Pokemon is an anime. I feel like it was so ubiquitous, and it is so ubiquitous that I feel like people just, I don't know, it's cartoon. Like, they don't really think about it. But I think that actually is a difference, where I feel like the generation that's getting into anime on Netflix, I think they do know it's anime.
Yeah, because it's become a word that is, like, I didn't know what the word anime was when I was a kid, until, I got into, after I was probably 10 years old or something like that. But now I think you'd learn what that word is way earlier.
Yeah.
And people would talk about it more. It's not like I was walking around in Sri Lanka and people would say the word anime. Like, that's not happening. That's not happening for
like,
me.
I guess because the internet and everything, it's like so much more. And I know someone's going to leave some comment about like, in Japan, they call like the Minions movie anime. And it's like, I think it's
You
just
win. You have won the conversation.
I think it's like, all right, yeah, because they're just saying anime as like short for animation, but that's not why we're saying anime.
Yeah.
When we're saying anime, we're kind of shorthand saying, I guess, Japanese animation. And then to what extent do we also mean, things like Avatar or Link Click or whatever else? But, or like maybe do you reckon there are people who are specific like fans of anime but not Japanese anime? That's really into.
You know what? Like, I did want to start talking about what we might think it might become. So where we went from, our bridge, like our entry into it was, we watch something, we kind of get interested. If we get truly interested, we have to go out and look for it and find it in some form. And it was difficult to get. Then it's come into popularity, and now it's ease of access. You get in, you either see it somehow, you maybe get interested, you find it with much more ease. And in the future, maybe it's going to go back to being hard because it's become so popular that it will end up becoming like forming its own inner niches. So maybe you do become the I only like Link Click and whatever that superhero one by the same studio is, or I only like
Solo Leveling, or
or you only like whatever's made by. But Solo Leveling is made by a Japanese studio, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But then, like the manhwa. Yeah, the manhwa is Korean. But yeah, so you only like the Korean ones, or you only like the
genres.
Castlevania, where they are emulating the animation style, but it's completely a Western show. Like, the two Castlevania series. Who knows? But I do think it's an interesting thing to think about when something becomes that massive and popular, that it started off small and everyone like kind of having their own
everything.
Having their own like expertise on it, to becoming so popular that your expertise can be just on one thing.
That's true. Maybe we're missing the real discussion here, which is like the death of the anime fan in general. Like,
that's what we should have been talking about, man. That is so what we should have been talking about. It took us so long to get here.
We had to work through the steps.
Yeah, we should have known what we were going to talk about. But the death of the anime, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, because, and I think it's only on the back of how big, I almost said Kimetsu no Yaiba again. How big the Demon Slayer movies are. The anime fan is not dead because those films are so big, and the word anime will remain in the cultural zeitgeist while those movies are coming out. I just can't imagine it going away, and like anime becoming so normalized that people don't think of it as Japanese animation.
Yeah. I guess, to take it back there to the discussion about what people in Japan would say, it is interesting that you can talk to people in Japan and you can be like, what are your hobbies? And they're like, I like watching anime. So, we're kind of making this distinction, like Japanese anime or, broadly, whatever, that kind of style. But they will kind of say that as well. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm really into anime," or "I'm really into manga," and it's a far more normal thing there.
Okay.
Like, it's super common.
I've never done the Salaryman chat at a bar.
They're like, they almost, like, at least from the people I've talked to, like almost everyone that I've talked to in Japan is into anime to some extent.
That's cool.
So it is more normal to them. But it is still a bit strange. There's still some distinction there, because if you talk to someone here and you say, what are your hobbies? They're not going to say TV shows. You know what I mean?
True.
It's like, it's still somehow, has its own...
I have come across a few people that say their hobby is Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah. And like, I think it's just because of like what I thought hobbies were, that I now think it's normal that people say that, because I've heard it so many times. But for me, a hobby was always something that you kind of had to go out of your way to do. Like, it's not just like, oh, you're kind of just like sitting there and it's literally zero effort to do it. Whereas for me, a hobby was like, oh, you're probably like running or something, or like playing a sport, or you're creating something, doing some jugglery. I don't know. Whatever it is you're doing, you are doing something. Whereas like Netflix always seemed like, or just watching TV shows or whatever, was like a leisurely, simple task. Whereas going to the movies as a hobby seemed like a hobby, because like you're going somewhere to do something, and even though the actual act itself is the very same, you put the effort in to drive your car to the mall or the shopping center. And
I still think like watching anime is a hobby. I think then there is some weird thing going on there, because it's like, well, why does watching anime feel like a hobby but watching Netflix doesn't?
I can tell you why. Here's the reason. We already touched on it. It's because we already have it ingrained in us that it's effort to get it. We think that, oh, you know what, like it used to be like, oh, I had to go and like find a way to get this. We had invested some kind of effort, whether it's like just clicking a few buttons or like going and borrowing a DVD. It was effort. So bringing it back and watching it on your computer or on your TV back then was kind of like a task, but it was fun. And now, even though all those steps have been taken away and you're just clicking like a couple of buttons and it's on, it still feels the same, because we're carrying all this like baggage of yeah, you know what? It is a hobby, because I put all this effort in.
So what about if here we are waving the finger at the new anime fans or whatever? What if they would, because we don't know, we don't have them here in the room with us. What if they would say the same thing? Where like the casual Netflix fans, maybe they wouldn't say that anime is their hobby anyway, because it's not, they're not going to the extra effort. Maybe for someone to say it is their hobby would require them to like feel like they went to the extra effort in the first place. So here's us saying, I don't know, are you a real anime fan? And them saying like, I don't know, I watch it, but I wouldn't call it like my hobby. You know what I mean? Like maybe we're all on the same page anyway.
Yeah, it's like someone that's gone to Oxford sees someone just wearing like an Oxford t-shirt and just yelling at them like, you didn't go there, you didn't study. It's like, bro, I'm just wearing a t-shirt, dude. Like, chill out. Actually, I don't know if Oxford makes it. I'm thinking of Harvard. Yeah, I'm thinking of Harvard shirts. Yeah. But yeah, nah.
Fan of the dictionary.
Yeah.
Big dictionary fan right here.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably more right than wrong there. There's a very high chance that they are watching that and they're just watching it because
like they would watch any other show. It's like it's how I don't say one of my hobbies is watching TV shows, even though I watch a lot of TV shows. The only reason I would say I'm a fan of anime is because of all the baggage that comes with it. All the extra
because like there's so much time and effort that we put in. But like you would say, okay. Here's something that's kind of interesting that we only have with anime and not with TV shows. You would say you're a fan of a TV show, right? Because I would say I was a fan of How I Met Your Mother while it was airing. Or, whatever else that I watched that while it was airing. But I wouldn't say I was a fan of sitcoms. I like sitcoms, or like I like that type of like drama or comedy.
Yeah.
But I would like a specific show. Whereas with anime, we're saying I collectively like this big thing, even though there's like a 300,000 shows in there. I like this whole thing.
So I guess that is coming back to what we were talking about, where like maybe the death of the anime fan is when there is so much anime that it starts to kind of disintegrate.
Yeah. Who is watching everything?
Because I think maybe to be an anime fan, maybe this is what it's all about. That we just tie it all together. Maybe to be an anime fan is to be someone who will like give almost any of it a go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, you're going to prefer stuff over other stuff, but as a whole, you like anime. Whereas, like, as a whole, I'm not going to say as a whole I like TV shows, because I can guarantee the vast majority of them I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
But the fact that the other day I made a YouTube video where I just took my audience's anime recommendations and just watched it. Like, I watched a Magic Girl, I don't even remember what it's called. I don't know. Someone in the comments will say it, but it's some like old Magic Girl anime that's been going on forever. And
it's just like Card Capture Sakura or Puella Magica.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's I think because it's got kind of two names based on what you'd call it. It's like a contraction of the name. Okay. But anyway, that, you know, I gave it a go anyway, and I gave it a low score, but I gave it a low score comparatively within anime, and I still took time out of my day to watch it. And it's like this Magic Girl anime, presumably for young girls, and I'm watching it. I'm spending time watching it. I'm not going to do that with TV shows. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we're just, because it's anime, we're less fussy, and that is what classifies us as anime fans.
You're willing to give it a go, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're going, there's like a baseline. It's like how I'm a fan of pizza. It doesn't really matter how good it is. Yeah. I am going to like the pizza.
What a simple man.
I guess there's a higher likelihood that you're going to enjoy it, even if it's outside of your regular, what you would regularly like. Because if you only liked the type of anime that you regularly like, well, then you would just be a fan of that.
Yeah, you like shonen anime, or you like action anime, or you like, if you really like detective anime, then you'll like detective anime. But I
would have to watch so much of it. Like, let's say shonen's maybe like that's a gray area, because so much of the big anime is shonen.
You're spoiled for choice.
Yeah, but if you really like some niche genre of anime, I think you probably wouldn't say, oh, anime is my hobby, or I'm really into anime. You would have to kind of say as a whole. So I feel like the point is, it's like how you can be like a big fan of K-pop. You're not going to say, I'm a huge K-pop fan if you listen to Blackpink and only Blackpink. It would be a bit misleading to say I'm a K-pop fan and you're like, oh, I hate every other K-pop group.
We need to talk about that.
Okay, well,
one day we'll talk about the people that hate every other group. But I can draw parallels with that, right? So I'm a big F1 fan, but because I'm a big fan of F1, I've kind of like merged into, or understanding, I've come to the understanding of like what the step above that is, and that would be a big fan of motorsport in general. So those people that really, really like motorsport will watch NASCAR, they'll watch IndyCar, they'll watch the lower rungs, they'll watch supercars, they'll watch Bathurst, they'll watch all these other things because what they love is racing around a track. Whereas I know I'm just an F1 fan, and sometimes I'll watch the F2 races if they're on the same weekend, and sometimes I'll watch the F1 Academy races if they're on the same weekend. But I won't ever go out of my way to watch IndyCar or NASCAR. And I don't call myself a motorsport fan because like I know I'm not that. I'm just not. I don't know. I couldn't name who the champion was of NASCAR last year. I don't know any of the I don't even know the teams. I don't even know the teams in NASCAR.
And so the real parallel there is, if there is some higher level, podcasts out there, and they talk about sports in general, and they talk about this new wave of motorsports fans. Are they fake motorsports fans?
Yeah.
It would be like, that's the discussion where it's like, well, yeah, if they claim to be, my hobby is motorsports, I love motorsports, but all they watch is F1.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I think that's the discussion we're having, where if all you watch is the Netflix anime, it's like, you're not necessarily, broadly speaking, an anime fan. You're just a fan of whatever the popular. Netflix anime is.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to say Netflix anime though, because of what's available on Netflix. They just got too much of the classics now that...
Well, but if...
I don't think they're going to go watch the classics though.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If Netflix comes out with enough of it, and it's got like Netflix buys Crunchyroll and they've got everything, and then someone watches everything, we're not going to say they're not an anime fan just because they watched it on Netflix.
It's not the medium going on. We're saying the surface level popularity and the volume of it as well.
Yeah, your level. I guess it's just like comes down to your level of engagement with it in general.
Yeah, I'd say with that F1 analogy, it would be insane to say you're not an actual anime fan if you are going around and watching kind of just anything you get your hands on. Because that's what a fan does. They want to voraciously consume whatever they can get their hands on because they like it. And that's what a fan is.
Yeah, because there's definitely anime fans out there that only have Netflix and they don't have anything else. And so they're watching everything they can on Netflix. And I would still call them an anime fan.
Absolutely. Because you're kind of sometimes limited by what you have access to.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like we were when we were kids. We were limited to what we had access to. Yeah, we had to put the effort in to get all these other things, but we had access to it. The only reason we got it was because we got it. Yeah. Sometimes there are barriers you can't cross, and sometimes that is a monetary barrier that you can't afford to get Crunchyroll and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and Stan and whatever else. High Dive. It's too much to spend on. And if you're not savvy enough to find it in other ways, well, you're blocked. That's it. It's over.
Yeah. Fake fan.
You're a fake fan. You don't have the money? Oh, fake fan.
All right. Well, I feel like that's probably a good place to call it. I feel like we
talked about a lot.
We solved it.
And it's been 8 minutes.
Everyone can forego having that conversation because we already had it.
Yep, that's one less thing you can talk about, and you have more time to go to Disneyland now.
But thank you for listening. If you made it all this way, you can find us on, I'm gonna say, anywhere where you get your podcasts.
Hopefully it's all sorted out.
Yeah. And let us know if you're watching on YouTube where you can leave a comment. Let us know if you're watching or listening where you can leave a comment. What you would like us to talk about in future episodes. Anything you'd like to say?
I'd say if you made it this far, thank you very much. And if you've skipped to the end to see what we're talking about right now, thank you very much even for skipping to the end and giving this a shot. If you have comments on just like what you thought about the episode and how we were interacting and just where our conversation is going, or if you just hate anime and you hate fake anime fans, let us know. Anyways, peace. But we're gonna do an extra outro.
No, I was just gonna say we will see you next week.
We should come up with a word.
Yeah,
that says we're done.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.